Welcome to the Dog Pound. The trade deadline is here, and it's time to talk buy low and sell high candidates. Who can you pull onto your squad to help you go all the way to the Super Bowl this year? All right, I am Johnny Parlay. He is Tyler, aka the Young Wizard, and we are here to help you. Tyler, who do you got?
Yes, sir. We're going to get right into it right now. I am buying low on Cortland Sutton, Denver Broncos wide receiver. He started off the season really well, but he's kind of progressed downwards fast. 3 straight games with 5 or fewer points, just the 1 touchdown on the season. I've been dealing with the woes myself. I have him on my team, but here is what I really like about him. But if we just look kind of at the Broncos offense as a whole, they've been terrible without Javonte Williams in that lineup. They're last in offensive touchdowns, fourth worst QBR this season, second lowest completion percentage in the NFL, and they've allowed 24 sacks. I'm buying low on Cortland Sutton, though. Here is number 1 reason why. It's all about the matchups, baby. You look forward to this rest of the season. You like his teams that he's going up against. Of the remaining 9 games, 6 of them are against teams that rank in the bottom 10 for passing touchdowns allowed on the season. 5 of those teams are bottom 10 in passing yards allowed per game. 5 of them are bottom 10 in completion percentage allowed per game. Over 90% of snap share Cortland Sutton is seeing so far this season. The volume is certainly there. 62 targets on the season. He leads the team, 8 more than Jerry Jeudy. And let's be honest, the stock is as low as you can find for a wide receiver 1 in the NFL right now. He's a guy that started off the season with super high upside, averaging more than 15 a game through the first 5 weeks, but he's tapered off significantly. They had the bye week. They're coming off of that. Maybe Russell Wilson has that time to get that Wolverine-like blood pumping through his body, get a little bit healthier again, and maybe he bounces back. I like his matchups moving forward. I am buying low on Cortland Sutton.
I got to tell you, I like everything about that. I was very high on him coming into the season, and obviously I've been disappointed like most of his anybody who's rostering him most likely is. But yeah, I think that the schedule gets a lot better going from here. So hopefully Denver can put something together. That offense has been tough to watch this season.
Yeah, without a question. And it's obvious that the absence of Javonte Williams has put a big damper on that offense. Like you said, it's just as soon as he went out, they started to taper downhill very, very fast. And Cortland Sutton definitely has seen that kind of production fall off. So we're not really happy about that. But if you're going to buy low, you're not going to find someone with lower stock right now than Cortland Sutton. You can go out, you can get him for a couple cheap bench players maybe. And once he takes off towards the end of this season here, you're going to be looking really good with a wide receiver 1 as your flex.
That's right. It makes him a perfect buy low candidate because you're not going to be able to buy low on something that's been flashing. You got to try to identify somebody that's been underperforming, that the schedule starts to turn around, and hopefully they can turn it around too. So this is a good opportunity for sure. Moving on, I'm going to buy Deebo Samuel. He's dealing with a hamstring injury, so I understand the trepidation here. However, Deebo aggravated his hammy in game, and he finished that game. And then he sat out week 8 and had the bye to rest the hammy as well. He's been practicing this week. He looks like he's good to go. And he has been underperforming due to his ADP this season. A lot of people had to take him either in the late first round or early second round. So chances are you might have an aggravated owner that wants to get out of the Deebo business. And this is why you want to get into the Deebo business, if you ask me. CMC, the addition of CMC is a huge deal. It's not going to be the same situation that was in Carolina where he gets all the touches. There's too many good weapons on this team, and Shanahan's not just going to turn his back on Deebo, the guy who he rode all last year. He knows what he has in Deebo. He's not going to stop using him. Actually, he's going to start using them in a way that's more beneficial to Deebo in a lot of ways. He's going to be in the X role, the wide receiver 1, which is a very productive role in Shanahan's offense. This is where you want him to be. And the defense are going to have to really, really concern themselves with CMC. This is a bit of a gravity suck when it comes to defenses. They have to worry about him. And Deebo, they'll worry about him too, but you can't worry about them both all the time. It's not going to be able to commit that same pressure to Deebo that he's been seeing this season. And I do think that he's going to benefit greatly from somebody as worrisome for opposing defenses as CMC. This is a great chance to buy low. I think what you're looking at here is the NFL's version of Batman and Robin. I think these guys are going to be very, very difficult to deal with when they're on the field together and they start to figure out how to use them. And Shanahan will do so. So buy low on Deebo. Chances are you might be able to sneak him out of someone's roster and benefit your roster this season.
No doubt. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said that, you can game plan for one of them, but you're not going to be able to game plan for both of these guys. They're the Swiss Army knives of the NFL, and Kyle Shanahan has both of them, and he loves every second of it. He is going to make the most out of that situation. Those guys are actually, I believe, going to benefit more from each other than they will hurt each other. We already saw CMC in that first full game action where he had the passing touchdown, the receiving touchdown, and the rushing touchdown. So
yeah,
it's something that I really love. It's an offense. It's going to be so fun to watch moving forward. I love that. Buy low on Deebo. I loved it.
Absolutely. Boom. Put it on the board.
Put it on the board. All right. So I guess we're going to move on to the sells now.
Absolutely. Who do you got?
My big guy, Mecole Hardman. So I'm selling on Hardman. He's got super high stock right now. 5 touchdowns in the last 3 games. He's gone 12, 13, 28, and 19 points. Coming off 9 targets. That's the 3rd most targets he's received in a game throughout his career. And guess what? He's only got 1 career 100-yard receiving game. But his stock is so inflated right now. I think if you look beyond the stats that the rest of your league is seeing, which is those fantasy points, the addition of Kadarius Toney is going to be a big one. So Kansas City immediately had the bye week last week, and Toney came in, immediately took away, wasn't a big share, but he took away 10% of Hardman's snap counts and targets right there. And I think once he gets more acclimated to that offensive system, he's going to see a lot more of a snap share, and Hardman's going to take that hit over there. He's 3rd on the team in targets right now throughout the season, so it's not like you're giving up someone who's getting the number 1 targets. Obviously, you have to compete with Juju, MVS, and obviously Travis Kelce. So those are big guys that are going to be hard to pry away targets from, and he's already splitting enough targets as is. With the addition of Kadarius Toney, I think that just limits him even more in that kind of slot role that he's been playing. And Mahomes spreads the ball a lot. That's just that's common knowledge for all of us right now watching the Kansas City offense play. And you look at the 5 of the remaining 9 matchups, he's got very, very tough matchups to play. They rank in the top 10 of opposing QBR allowed, so they're not really easy defenses to pass the ball on. And let's face it, Mecole Hardman probably isn't a guy that you've been starting week in and week out. He's got that super boomer bust potential. So you've seen so far this season, a couple of those dud games to start the year out, but his stock is pretty inflated and high right now. I think you could go out, you could sell him pretty high, maybe package another lower level guy, get yourself a real true wide receiver 2, solidify your team. I'm selling high on Mecole Hardman.
Totally understandable. I mean, the thing about Toney's addition too is he is kind of similar to what Mecole Hardman brings to the table as far as that gadget guy, a guy you can line up in the backfield, you can run out end arounds and do different things with them, and kind of what they do with Hardman. So there's a really good chance that he eats into that work share. I mean, there's also a chance that he takes some of MVS's work share because MVS has been a bit hit and miss, but it's definitely something that it's something you'd have to gamble on. And right now, Hardman's stock's never going to be higher. I mean, he's had, I believe, 4 games in a row of double-digit points.
That is correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and he had the 3 touchdown week 3 weeks ago because of the bye.
Yeah,
So that's fresh in people's minds, and there's definitely if you're going to sell on somebody high, this is the opportunity to do that. That's for sure.
no doubt, no doubt.
That's excited about that situation. Chance is, I mean, he is in this very powerful offense, so maybe he does have a couple of good weeks, but it's going to be inconsistent.
Yeah, no question there. That's my biggest thing with him is, Mahomes loves to spread the ball. No one has been his clear-cut number one target in the wide receiver position this year. We've seen Juju kind of take a bigger role in the offense over the last few weeks, but it's obviously Travis Kelce, the number one target over there. So it's going to be hard to pry away targets from guys like that, especially when your snap count is going to be on the downtick. So his stock is super inflated. He has the 5 touchdowns over the last 3 games. Someone out there is probably looking for a flex player, and you could sell them on Mecole Hardman and get yourself a new running back tool maybe, or another wide receiver, or maybe you can get yourself a Justin Fields type quarterback.
Yeah, I don't know if you can get Justin Fields after that game you just had, but maybe you can get yourself, like you said, like a running back that can be useful. And that actually is a pretty good lead into my guy, because I am selling Cordarrelle Patterson, and maybe you want to target Algier from Mecole Hardman. Maybe that's the move you want to make, because here's the way I look at it. When it comes to Patterson, he's fresh off the IR this week. He had a good, solid game. He had 53 yards. The 2 touchdowns rack up the points. But if you look at it a little closer, it took him 13 rushes to get 44 yards rushing. He added 1 catch, which brought him up to 53 yards total. But that's another thing, is he only got targeted once in the passing game. So that was a little concerning when it comes to Patterson's usage. But it took him those 13 rushes. That's 3.3 yards per carry. Not very good. And it was just the eye test. He just didn't look great with the ball. I know this is his first week back. However, Algier, 10 times, 99 yards. And this is the reason they drafted this kid. They don't want to wear down Patterson over there. But when it comes to late in the season with these rookie running backs, a lot of time that's when they start to really eat into that work share of the veteran that's already on the staff. So I do think that has a real possibility here. I know they love Patterson, but they also drafted this kid for a reason, and that reason was they didn't want to run Patterson into the ground, because he is fragile. He does get banged up. It just came off the IR. So there is a good chance that there's going to be a bit of a split there. Plus, there's other mouths to feed as well. So Caleb Huntley also got 7 rushes for 37 yards and did look pretty good with the ball as well. So there's a lot to unpack there. There's a lot to think about. I say sell high on Cordarrelle Patterson now, fresh off the 2 touchdown game right before the trade deadline here, and then you wash your hands of the situation. Not to mention, the Falcons also have the bye in week 14, which can be brutal depending on where you are in the playoff race. Maybe you have to win that game to get in. Maybe that game's the difference between your first round bye or not. So you look at it, take a look at your roster. Very good candidate for a sell high situation, especially.
Cordarrelle Patterson's tinkering with Johnny's Wi-Fi again. Just a little bit. He doesn't like the shade, but I'm kind of with you here. It's tough when you have a week 14 bye, especially that's probably going to be a lot of people's last week of the regular season, especially with this extended year. So it's going to be really tough to monitor that backfield for the next coming weeks. Obviously, Algier has played well in the absence of Patterson. And maybe they start using that split backfield a lot more. But especially if you're that fringe team right now and you're looking like you probably are going to need to win a lot of these games moving forward, especially a week 14 matchup, that's going to be a tough one to have if Cordarrelle Patterson is your running back 1 or running back 2 and he's on a bye week. So definitely monitor that situation a little bit. And if you can, sell high on him.
Absolutely. Now's the time to look ahead, see how your schedule lays out, see kind of where you are in the rankings and what you need to do to get into the playoffs, because that's what this is all about. So if this is a situation where this could be worrisome for you, because I know it would be for me in most situations, it's time to sell now, right at the trade deadline, right after a 2 touchdown game. Perfect situation. I believe he's ranked RB15 on Fantasy Pros this week. So everything looks good for a sell high. Get out of this situation now. That's my opinion, before he either gets hurt again or he's leaving you high and dry in week 14.
Yeah, no doubt. These are the crucial weeks moving forward in the fantasy season. That is why you are at a very crucial point to buy or sell on a lot of these guys here. I know we laid out a few guys out there. There's probably plenty more people that you're looking at either trying to buy or sell on before the deadline. Make sure you kind of leave some of those names down in the comments below. If you have any questions you want us to address, we will be doing that. And we're probably going to be going live on Thursday too to address some more questions, some roster tweaks for the lineups set on Sunday and Thursday night games. So anything else to add, Johnny?
Yeah, hope to see you on Thursday. Come pregame with the Dog Pound.
There we go. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll hope to see you on Thursday.
All right. We're out of here.